evening, everyone. Firstly, congratulations to all of you that you people successfully cracked the exam. It is a really very good thing. So first I want to know how you felt regarding the exam. It was easy, moderate or hard? You can unmute yourself or reply in chat. Hard.
Yes, sir. It was moderate. It was not that easy, but it was not
moderate.
that tough.
Okay. Majority felt that it is moderate. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now the thing is that first I'll discuss what is the admission process. Like as in other all the NLUs in every cases, in every universities, there is a scope of further counseling, and there is no such process of counseling in RG entrance test. There are 40 seats. Previously it was 30. Now the increase till 40, maybe possible. So 40 seats, and all the seats are related to, means there is no option of further counseling. The list will come and all the names are declared in particularly one notice. That's final. So all those who are selected, that is the final list. So it's maybe possible that sometimes they used to call less than 40, less than the seats, because in our time there are seats around 30, but they only called 26 or 27. That is the final now. That is the first part. Second part is that what type of questions, that is the main part, that what type of questions they are going to ask in the interview. In the interview, firstly, they will ask the questions related to about the brief introduction of yourselves. There will give a brief introduction, which is common for all type of interviews. Second and most important question they will ask, that why you are going to choose 2-year LLM program rather than 1-year LLM program. That way they are going to ask, and anyone want to response, means how you are decided, that how you are going to answer. Suppose if this question they used to ask, that why you are going to choose 2-year LLM program rather than 1-year LLM program. Anyone? So I answered in a particular way, that firstly I cited one thing, that 2-year program is much more related to research oriented thing, and in 1 year, that is basically 10 months program, there will only 1 semester or 3 months is allocated particular to dissertation. LLM program is much more about dissertation thing, because all the courses which you have studied in your LLBS, that is some more credits, some more timings that are only given only for 1 year, and remaining 1 year you will get only to dealing with the issues with dissertation, and they did it very properly. Plagiarism and all the things are counted in a proper. So that is one part. Second part, I connected it with the national education policy. That national education policy is currently focusing more on your 2 years program. They are not focusing 1 year program. They are not recognizing it. 2 programs, 2 points. Third point I mentioned, that IIT's PhD program only recognizes the students of 2-year LLM. All the 1-year LLM program, who are the students in different colleges of 1-year LLM, they are not eligible to apply for the PhD program. That is the one and important thing, and that is giving an edge for all the RG students. Firstly, the RG students get a dual benefit. Firstly, they can apply in IIT and all other places, even traditional universities, and the same time they are eligible for the NLUs also. These 3 points I cited while dealing with the issue with respect to why you are interested in 2-year LLM program. Now, the third point. That point is there are 2 ways the interview is to take place. In previous time, sometimes it took place when 2 panel, that were 5 faculties used to sit, they'll ask question. And after that, in our time, there is 1:1 faculty, 1 faculty, sometimes 2 faculty. 2 faculty used to ask different types of questions, firstly related to core IP subjects, and sometimes depend on constitution. In my case, they asked some questions related to constitution, some basic questions, and some questions from BR Act, just from the BR Act or the patent laws. And in the case of the patent laws, I don't know that answer, and I directly said in the answer that I don't know. Don't try to make them the faculties full, because all the faculties are totally expert in their area. So if you try to make them full, they will ensure that you are not going to crack the exam. They'll totally ensure in the interview part. So don't try to make them full. My personal suggestion, if you are not going to able to answer any question, directly say them that I am not going to answer. They will appreciate your effort. That is another thing. Now, another important thing, those who are doing any type of practice, suppose anyone took 1 year, they are doing practice for 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. Now they are again interested in coming to academy, means LLM program. They'll definitely, their questions will be asked based on their previous 2 years, 3 years experiences. Suppose if a person is practicing in court for last 2 years, so he or she can expect that all the questions will be asked mainly from CPC, because their panel will be set in a way that faculties who are specialized in CPC, they will take their interview. So all the students who are dealing with all this part, means practicing, they need to ensure that they'll properly go through all the relevant areas. Suppose anyone practicing criminal law also, practicing criminal for the part, they'll also ask from the questions from the criminal law only. And now, third question is that how you are going to deal with that issue in the present tense, because some questions some of the students will ask from the present tense question. So for the present tense, you can go through SCC online blog. There are lots of case briefs, and every day something used to come, or monthly. Go through all that part. That SCC online part, and just a brief overview regarding how you are just to keep in a notice that you know all the aspects. That's all. Means you don't need to particularly go through. You don't need to be a master before joining the institute. They are not expecting that you are a master of IP laws or any other laws. So just you must need to have a good knowledge of all the laws. That's all, means which are asked basically in the BR Act based questions. And you especially focus on all the conventions related to Bond Convention, TRIPS, what are the biological diversity, also Convention on Biological Diversity, when it came into force, how many countries are ratified, all the status. And in connection to that, whether any provision of Constitution of India which ensures that the international conventions are ratified, means IP conventions which are ratified to Indian Constitution, that part you can deal. These are the few basic things you need to take care, and I think this will definitely you'll easily crack the exam. Means interview, it is not a great big deal to that it is not, you cannot able to crack that. You can easily able to crack that, just be confident and answer in a proper way. If you are not able to answer, don't try to make them fool. That is my own personal opinion. Now you can ask the questions.
Sir, are there any? Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, are there any placements at Rajiv Gandhi Institute?
Yes, placements. The placements are through CDC. Then in the you have to apply for that. In our previous batch, that is 2019 to 2021, there are 4 students out of 15 students. 4 students got the placement because rest are interested in doing in academics. In our batch, 2020 to 2022, our batch only 1 student got the placement, and rest other we are totally interested in academics only. That's why I didn't apply to the process of the placement. The placement pays to give a good placement.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Besides Constitution and IPF, what are the subjects? That is Constitution and IPF subjects. These 2 areas they mainly consider, because the other areas, that is corporate law, criminal law, they when in the previous step, because you are going to get the specialization honors in IPR only. If they change the procedure, that time in our time they only change the procedure. They changed the procedure to only LLM in IPR was provided, because our batch strength is 15. But if there is much strength, they can also provide in any other course. So if they are providing in any other specialization, they may ask the question from criminal law or any other laws. But the chances are very less. Is it advisable to pursue LLM if wants to pursue career in law firms, not in academics? Yes, if you want to gain the knowledge, all these things, totally upon your interest. If you want to pursue your career in law firms, you can directly approach. It's better to go through the law firms and do your proper practice. LLM is not advisable. LLM mainly focused more on academics, because none of the things, all the things are taught in that LLM program. All are specially focused into academics, because we have to need to do taking classes, preparing the course material. In the 3rd and 4th semester, we need to do course material, taking classes of LLB students. All these things are taught. There is no such compulsion that we need to do any type of court internships or any other internships. Even they give a favor that all the students choose academic internships also. The rest is your decision. That my opinion is that if you want to pursue your career only in litigation in law firms, it's better to do your course in it's better to practice, because taking 2 years time and excelling all other things, it's not advisable. Do they ask question from jurisprudence? No. In our whole batch, they didn't ask any other question from jurisprudence. What are other specializations available? And we'll just want to there are constitutions, law, criminal law, IPR, and corporate law. All 4 are available, and they'll take the opinion. But at the end of the offer letter, they'll specially mention which specialization you are going. Even international law was also there in our time, but at the end they will decide that which specialization they are going to offer.
When can we expect this interview process to be ending? Like, what is the date? Is there any stipulated time in which they complete everything?
I am not. It is not audible. Can you type that question? Because I am not able to hear anything.
Am I audible now, sir?
Yes.
Yes, sir. I was asking that is there any proper deadline under which they conclude interview and giving the offer letters and everything?
Yes, I think the deadline is they already provided at 2 to 6th May, I think.
It's for the interview and
offer letter will be around after in our time they only took 10 days because there was COVID factor in our time, so everything need to be done early. This time they will take some more days, but before CLAT everything will be done. Before CLAT everything means, and they will give only 7 days from the offer letter. They will give maximum 7 days to pay the fees of 50,000.
Sir, hello, sir.
Hmm?
Sir, till what rank there are good chances for selection? Any specific rank, safe rank?
And see, the proper ranking is not available. They will only release the maximum scorecard, that maximum cutoff. All the students they cleared the entrance, because in our time out of 120, 78 was the cutoff. So all the students who scored above 78 all are selected. So that is not clear that what is the maximum number, what is the minimum number, but minimum number is 78 in our time for general. And others are, I think, around 60 for other SC/ST, I think 60, 64. And OBC also, I think 75. All the students, that was the minimum. All the students above that, they got the offer letter. One question is that, sir, how does the interview happen? It would be online, and especially they will give that in that G Suite, I think. In our time, it was in G Suite. Do they provide exact date and time for our interview? Yes, they will provide exact date and time for the interview. Can we wait for the CLAT results before taking admissions in IIT KGP? From the date of the offer letter, they will specifically mention that 7 days. After the 7 days, if you are not opting for the offer, that will be rejected. Means you are not further, you cannot claim. So if it is on 2 to 6th May, so maximum 20th May, you will get the offer letter to 27 till 27. But CLAT is on 12th June. It is upon you that if you want to wait for the CLAT result, because IIT will not wait. They'll decide the final list, and that is final. Even some of the time they will do the induction program also.
Sir, there will be no waiting list. Only one list, final list will be there.
No. There is no waiting list, no further counseling, nothing. Only one list, and that is the final, one and only final list. Interview schedule will be mailed to all the, yes. Please repeat that. Any other specialization they are offered, they do ask to start which your interest. So yes, there are specializations in constitutional law, criminal law, corporate law, intellectual property law, and international law. In the interview, they will ask the question, and rest IIT will decide that whether they will provide in any other course or not, because for last 2 years they are providing only in intellectual property law, specialization only in intellectual property law.
Sir, can you repeat the specializations, please?
Specializations are constitutional law, criminal law, corporate law, intellectual property law, and 5th is international law.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
kind of questions can be extracted from current affairs. Questions are basically from directly from the judgment, whether you know that judgment or not. If you are not going to, if you don't know the answer, directly say them that I don't know. That's all. Do they take students' preferences also to choose specialization? Yes, they only just hear the specializations. Yes, I'm going to select, but there are some minimum numbers, because out of 15, they have some restrictions, 5 or 6 they need to consider for particularly from that subject. That is their rule till 2020. Now may they change the rule, and this time also they are going to only offer intellectual property law. That is from the previous experiences. I can say that they are going to again provide intellectual property law specialization in LLM. Do they provide practical experiences, opportunities for application of just theories? No, they will provide practical experiences and opportunities, because I did in third semester one subject is biodiversity law, and for the biodiversity law I associated with that faculty professor. She guided me regarding that how to file the application for the plant variety registration of that family. They will guide in each and every way. If you want to learn it in a practical way, and if it is offline, they'll guide in each and every way, and you'll get huge number of opportunities in IP laws. From filing, they'll guide the filing, patent drafting. There is no official courses in LLM that patent drafting, but the faculties will allow you to attend the classes, and even some different practical programs, because various type of events used to take place, because all the GIs which used to take place, firstly they come in our university. We deal with that, filing the form fill up. There is except this, that for the patent filing also, whole IIT's patent processes used to come through RGS or IPL. So faculties used to draft. So if you are under good guidance, then faculties will include you in that project. It means currently first years they want the opportunities. Yes, do this. No, students will not get the opportunity to change their specializations. Can you tell us about the life of the IIT Kharagpur? Yes, one of the best campus life I have ever enjoyed, because the campus is a living campus, and every time you have to do for hostel to your department, you need a cycle to visit. Means it is a long day. It's far away from your hostel, particularly from boys and the girls. Cycle is essential for surviving in IIT, because each and everything, suppose if you want to go to market, there is a market is available, everything at a reasonable price, from 6 rupees to 300 rupees teas, total everything is available. So you will definitely enjoy the campus. Sir, how will they provide us the exact date and time for the interview? They'll do all this thing through email only. Is KGP worth it over NLUs? In my perspective, I think KGP worth above NLUs, because in the case, because firstly I joined NUJS, then I especially want to do 2 years LLM program. That's why I left NUJS and joined IIT KGP. And second thing is that for academics, especially in research, IIT KGP is really a brand. Means in whole, if you go through all the research related thing, IIT stands at second after IISc Bangalore. IISc Bangalore stands 100. After that, IIT Kharagpur. So in the research part for LLM program, it's really worth. And even another issue is that for PhD, they only consider 2-year LLM program. So 1-year LLM program, if it is from any NLUs, even it is from NLS or NALSAT, that students are also not eligible to apply for the IIT PhD program. In that, I prefer NLUs. I prefer IIT KGP over the NLUs. Even I left NUJs for IIT KGP. Sir, there are 40 seats. Yes, there are 40 seats, but they will say that is their discussion how many students they are going to select, because in our time there was 30 seats available and they only selected 26 students. Is the attendance schedule staff or is it doing? Attendance is 100%. You need to have a 100% attendance, that is thing, but faculties will allow you, means if any type of issues, just inform the faculties will ensure that okay, you can take a leave. There is no such means compulsory restrictions that you have to attend all the classes. If you have relevant reason, then you will definitely faculties will allow you to leave the class. How is the faculty management and infrastructure? Infrastructure is really good, means in library, means our college library is open till 5 p.m. Then another central library, that is a department library. Department library is open till from 9 to 5. Then after that, you can study in central library. Central library remain open till 12. At the exams time, it will remain open whole night. Faculties are really good. Means in IP and any other, that is really good. Where one can intern during the LLM. If the students are there, we will get from April to August, there is a summer break. So students who want to do academics, they can go to any NLUs, any NLU center or any other. There is also a program in IIT also, that is Intellectual Property Facilitation Center, IPFC. They also can do their internship in IIT itself, IIT Kharagpur itself, because in this center, we used to facilitate to the companies, the drafting of the patent and all these things. Do the institution what? Sir, the interview should be focused completely like the subjects. Just to firstly go through the bare act of constitution and another part is related to IP. Just focus more on IP bare acts, and around 8 days is remaining. I think around 8 to 10 days is remaining. So just focus on that IP bare act and constitution bare act, and remaining SCC online. That will be sufficient. And don't go to in the very deep of the IPVR Acts also. Just a brief overview that you know the absolute grounds of that grounds of the trademark, rejection of the patents, that basic things, that very basics which are taught in your LLB days. That's all. Means master student level, they are not asking, they are only asking for what all the things they are taught in one semester of your LLB, because IPR is taught only for one semester. Do the institution itself provide internship opportunities, or this will be burden on us? Institution will not provide, but if you ask the faculties will definitely guide at their level best to ensure that you will get an internship. Can you give us a brief overview of LLM course according to the semester? Yes, semester 1, they ask, we have subjects like comparative patent law, then other forms of IPR, then LRLS, that legal research methodology program, legal, and another is that life sciences related, that is totally based on science and some amount of law, that is in the first semester. And also we have to present one paper seminar, and strictly they used to follow 15% plagiarism, and the panel is there, so they'll ask lots of questions from that research paper only. That is semester 1. Semester 2 is law, science and technology, that is based on in semester 1. Then is also subject is that judicial review, that is a constitutional law subject, and that is constitution 1. So sorry, constitution is taught in semester 1. In constitution 2, there is judicial review, law, science, technology, copyright law, trademark law, and comprehensive viva. Comprehensive viva is basically first semester. All the subjects they are taught in first semester, and all the subjects they are taught in second semester. All the second semester. All the questions asked from both the, all the subjects asked in both the semester. All the subjects are taught in both the semester. Questions will be asked from that only. In third semester, there is biodiversity law, that is traditional knowledge, biodiversity law. Another is ATL, advanced teaching learning. Here you need to write 4 research papers. And in every case, depends on the faculties how they'll get. Sometimes it is research paper, sometimes it is on case comment. That is totally depend on the faculties. And dissertation part 1. Here in this part, dissertation part 1, you need to submit introduction and literature review. That is of 20 credits. 20 credits is counted for dissertation part 1 work. Now in the next, that is 4th semester, we have already program of advanced teaching learning part 2. In advanced teaching learning part 2, you have to take classes of LLB students, first, second, third, any of the 2 hours compulsory minimum, and depending on the faculties, they will allot you more hours of classes. That is one. And dissertation, full dissertation. That is also again of 20 credits. So 40 credits they allotted to the dissertation part. What will be the duration of each interview? Depending on the faculties. Someone's interview is to go for 5 minutes. Some students, sometimes it goes to 10 minutes, depending on the faculties. But it is the maximum, it will be still 10 minutes. Is it necessary for everyone to take classes of LLB students, or is optional? It is compulsory. You have to take all any 2 hours class of, and that is a means that is a 4 component in advanced teaching learning part 2. There are 4 components, that preparing a course modules, that first draft, second draft, and preparing a study material. All these things to be done in 3 components, and 1 component particularly, that is 25 marks, is allocated to taking the classes of the LLB students. Any other questions? Anyone have any other doubts? You can ask me.
Sir, the total marks for the paper would be 150, I guess, like 120 MCQs and 30 marks for interview. So the final marks would be out of 150.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Mode of communication in interview, they prefer English, but depending on the faculties, if you say that if you are facing any problem, you can just convey. If you are in the faculties, IT faculties are really very good. If you are facing any type of problem, just convey it to them. Irrespective of that, if your language issue or any others, just convey it to them. They'll try to understand. But Hindi and English means, in our time, I only answered in English only. So if you are saying it anyway, they'll try to understand. Any other? Please explain the cutoff wala part once again. In that thing, in our time, the paper was based on, the paper was of 100 marks, interview was allotted to 20 marks. So 120 marks, the minimum cutoff, means there is when the list will come, and in the offer letter, they'll specifically mention what was the expected cutoff from the university. Means depending on the year, depending on the questions level, all these things, they will ensure that what is the cutoff, and that used to change depending on the questions and all these things. That used to change. In our time, the cutoff they mentioned, that is 78 out of 120. All the students who scored above 78 or above in the general category, they are selected for that, for taking admission in the IIT Kharagpur. For OBC it was around 75 or above, and for SC/ST it was 60 to 65 or above. So all the students who are scoring above that marks out of 120, they are eligible to enter in IIT Kharagpur. That marks used to change, but there is no further scope of counseling. Only one list will come, and that's final. Means previous all the years this used to happen.
Sir, after the entrance, they shortlist some candidates for the interview, and after the interview, they are going to consider the entrance marks also.
Yes, they will consider both entrance as well as interview.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Anyone has any other query? Sir, please brief in list. Brief regarding which part? Cutoff, or how to prepare for, means what areas you need to focus? You need to focus firstly on that constitutional part, then IP laws, especially in the barracks, which they taught in the LLB days. That's basic IP and all the conventions. All these two parts, they'll focus more because the school is especially focused on IP law, intellectual property law. That's why you need to focus more on IP laws and just the basic. Why what is the absolute grounds of rejection, then grounds for rejection of patent, marks, trademarks, how, in which sections. That is the basic things. If you're interested in IP, the basic requirements, the basic things which are taught in LLP, just go. That part is done. You don't need to get much deeper of all this, how the registration. You can also take care of that maximum time limit, maximum term that is allowed 10 years, 20 years, who has the owner, section 1340 of Copyright Act, that part. Only just the basics of all the laws, GIs, biodiversity and all that part, just focus on the basic part. It will easily help you. And with respect to current, it may be possible that they'll ask question from the current affairs. So SCC online case brief, that monthly case brief is to come in the SCC online blog. Just go through that will be sufficient. It is sufficient for the entrance. And don't not only focus on that IP things, you can focus overall, just brief overview of all the things, that will be sufficient. So IP, and if you are going through IP and constitution barracks, that will be sufficient to crack the interview. And my personal suggestion is that don't try to make them fool, because they're already the experts. If you don't know any answer, just directly say that I don't know, but I need to do more research. They'll be much more happy and they'll give much more marks. Mention, sir, if we had previously worked on IIT college research activities, internships, yes, you can, that part you can do it in the introduction part. In the when they'll ask for the giving the introduction, you will address that what areas you focused on. So based on the introduction, if you are asking, if you are directing that, please ask me in the introduction, you can easily direct that these are my areas. I did internships in trademark laws, patent laws. So the faculty understand that you already worked in that area. So they will definitely ask questions from only that only. You should mention if you are good, they are done.